Hello and welcome to your senior year and your senior conference. Today we're going to talk about planning for college. We have a PowerPoint presentation which will precede your individual meeting with your counselor. And then we also have some forms for you to sign, including the accuracy for your diploma name. So be sure you sign those forms before you leave today. Post-secondary planning has different options, including military workforce, apprenticeship programs, post-secondary education, including colleges or universities, and two-year community colleges. Please know that a transcript and an application will be required for all of the above options. But today we're going to be talking about post-secondary admissions. The application and the application fee are part of this admissions process, but it also includes the transcript, your ACT, SAT results, a resume, a letter of recommendation if it's needed, and an essay if the college or university requires it. This is a four-step application process. You're going to submit the application and the fee. You'll request the transcript by using parchment.com. You'll talk with your counselor about your letter of recommendation, and then you'll update the application status in College and Career Connections. So let's talk about the different types of applications. The most common type are the electronic or online applications, which is what the colleges are preferring. The common application, the universal application, and paper applications are also available, but paper applications are rare and we rarely use them in this office. Electronic applications all have different requirements, so be sure that you read them carefully. They can be accessed either from the college website itself or College and Career Connections. They can be free or they can be fee-based. If they are fee-based, you pay online with a credit card. Always proofread your information and then save a copy of the application as well. Your transcript then should be requested on parchment.com, and your letter of recommendation would also follow from your counselor. Be sure that you give your counselor a 2-week notice. The common application, it allows a student to complete one application that can be forwarded to many colleges. There are over 400 colleges and universities in the United States that use the common application, so it saves time. But the one thing about the common application is each of those other schools require supplemental information. So be sure you check the listing on supplemental information if you're going to use the common application. Fees still do apply. Usually these are more selective schools. The application process is more involved. The supplements include essays, portfolios, letters of recommendation, and mid-year reports. But again, transcript, parchment.com. The universal application is very similar to the common application, but only 80 colleges in the United States are participating with the universal application. The neat thing about this application is that you can add videos, pictures, or other media to your application. Again, submit your transcript through parchment.com. Your transcript is your academic record. It includes all the courses that you've taken, your grades, your GPA, your attendance record, and standardized test results. Colleges review these differently. Some will just take the GPA right off the transcript. Some will only look at core courses and grades, and some will take a look at your core and recalculate your GPA, while others will compare each student to the academic profile of their entire class at their school. They never compare Roncalli students to other schools. Remember, D grades limit your options. On parchment.com, which you registered in May of your junior year, to log in you used your email address and you created your own password. Your counselor did save your password, so if you forget, you can always check with your counselor. Parchment requests for transcripts are free for any college in the United States or internationally. What happens is you request the transcript and an electronic message comes into our registrar. The registrar sends the transcript, and at the same time an electronic message comes into the counselor. The counselor then will complete the secondary school report, which generally will also request a letter of recommendation. So there's no need to print a counselor school form from the college application site. You want to submit your transcript request at least 2 weeks before an application deadline. Please remember that. That's very important. The counselors are working with many students, so give them time to write a really good letter for you. The standardized tests, hopefully you've taken your standardized tests the spring of your junior year. You can retake them in the fall of your senior year as necessary. Some schools also require a subject test. Subject tests are specialized tests on a specific topic. The topic could be chemistry, physics, could be math, it could be a world language. You can register for these on College Board, and you can take up to 3 tests on one day. Each test is 1 hour in length, but know that most colleges do not require subject tests. The resume is also an important piece of your application. You created it in your English class junior year, but I'm sure that there are many changes that are going to occur over your senior year with your resume. Be sure to update it monthly because your counselors will refer to the resume as they work on your letter of recommendation. The essay is also another part of the application for most colleges. It's an ability for you to express and show your unique self. While it's also an opportunity for the college to learn about you, it's also an opportunity for the college to find out what kind of writer you are. Be sure you follow the directions, stay within the word limit. Write about something that's a passion for you and how it impacts you. That's the most important part, how it impacts you. Proofread. Have at least 2 people proofread. No slang or first person should be used unless the topic specifies that you can write in first person. Other ideas about the essay: it should be reflective, it should talk about you. They want to know about you. But here are some other examples of what you could possibly write about. Letters of recommendation are only done when they're required by the college or the scholarship. They can be done by a teacher or a counselor. You want to be sure you give them that minimum 2-week notice. Give them information on the purpose of the letter and the deadline. 2 weeks notice, remember. Update your resume. Give them a copy of your resume, especially if you're using somebody other than your counselor. Give them a copy of your resume. And then directions for submitting the letter of recommendation. Should it be electronic? Should it go to your counselor? Or should it be mailed? If it's mailed, you are responsible for addressing and stamping an envelope, and then be sure you give that to your recommender if it's somebody other than a counselor. It's always nice to send a thank you note to your recommender as well. Counselors do not expect that, but teachers, other folks who are writing your letters of recommendation, it's a nice habit to get into. The types of admissions at colleges and universities will also vary, as well as their deadlines. Rolling admission is probably the most common, and after you submit your application, typically within 3 to 5 weeks, you will have a decision. Regular action means that there's a deadline that you must submit the application, and then you will know by another deadline. For example, Purdue's deadline is the beginning of November, and then the beginning of December you will know your decision. Early action 1 and 2 is a form of regular action, but you find out early what the decision will be. So early action 1, you might have to submit your application early November. You find out before Christmas. Early action 2, submit your application the first week of January, and you find out the beginning of March. Early decision is much different. You can only submit 1 early decision application if you decide to go early decision, because early decision means that it is a binding application. If you are accepted at that university, that's where you'll be going, assuming that your financial aid package is a good one. So early decision, only 1 application, and then think very, very carefully about whether or not you really want to do an early decision application. So talking about financial aid, paying for college, really important. It begins with the FAFSA. We'll have a workshop in December which will be very helpful. It will go over the FAFSA line by line. The website, because it's only submitted electronically now, is fafsa.ed.gov. Be sure you're using the Gov website because it's a free website. You should not have to pay to submit the FAFSA. Deadline dates for submitting the FAFSA: you cannot submit earlier than January 1 of your senior year, and then the state deadline is March 10th, but we recommend that you submit it by March 1st. Colleges vary in their deadlines. There are colleges that have January and February deadlines, so read this information very carefully. If you miss the deadline, you're going to miss out on money. All athletes must file as well. Once you file, 4 to 6 weeks later, you'll get what's called a student aid report. Check it for accuracy because that will tell you how much you might qualify for or how much you might not qualify for. The earlier you file, the more options you have financially. Colleges do run out of money, so be sure you file as quickly as you possibly can. We will have a meeting in December on financial aid. The FAFSA meeting will be in December, and I believe the dates are on your PowerPoint. But there are also financial aid estimators out there which are very helpful to families. In particular, every college has what's called a net price calculator on their website. They vary in style. Some of them, once you put in your financial information for your family, will tell you how much money you may qualify for, while others will also compute scholarship monies that you might be eligible for because you are also submitting GPA and test scores. So each one differs. Watch your deadline dates. A secondary financial aid form is called the CSS Profile. This is a two-part application. The first part is free. It is a much more in-depth financial picture of your family. The second part does cost money, and it is based on the number of colleges that you will be sending the CSS Profile to. Please know that most colleges do not require the CSS Profile. So what types of financial aid would be available to our families? Colleges award a financial aid package that could include grants, loans, work-study, or merit-based aid, which we also know as scholarships. Be sure you understand what you will owe and when you must begin to pay. For some of these, particularly loans, you might have to pay beginning immediately, while others might be subsidized loans, which you would not have to begin paying until after you leave college. Not all forms of aid are available at all colleges. So let's talk a little bit about grants. This is gift money. We like this because you don't have to, it does not have to be repaid. It can be based on academics, other skills that you have. A FAFSA is required. Loans, repaid with interest, and again we talked about subsidized and unsubsidized. They can come from the federal government, the state government, or financial institutions. They all require a FAFSA. Some of them will also require a CSS Profile. Students can also work on campus, work-study program. 10 to 15 hours a week is usually the maximum amount. It is a way to earn some extra spending money. So let's talk about merit-based financial aid. These are types of scholarships: academic, athletic, essay, service, fine arts, a lot of different types. Where can we find them? The number one source would be your college website. Secondarily, College and Career Connections has a listing of scholarships as well as benchmarks of scholarships for different colleges. On Thursdays, you should receive a senior newsletter and a guidance blast. The senior newsletter will have scholarships listed, and those scholarship applications will then be available in the carousel outside the guidance department. Additionally, we make Scholarship of the Day announcements to the students during announcements, and those scholarships would be available in the carousel as well. Some other scholarship websites are listed here. Never pay to have somebody do a scholarship search for you, and do not provide personal identification information like your Social Security number or your credit cards. Where else can we look? Check your employers, union membership, organizations that you belong to. There are ethnic and heritage scholarships. You can check by college major, essay contests, fine arts competitions, ROTC, local newspapers. Those are all sources of scholarships. Additionally, local community foundations have scholarships, not only the Lilly Scholarship, but many other types of scholarships as well. Please know that the Lilly Scholarship, the requirements for it vary by county, so you'll have to pay attention to what your particular county is requiring. Watch for township scholarships, especially Franklin Township scholarships in February. College and Career Connections is our one-stop shop. It's linked to the Roncalli homepage. It has information on colleges, scholarships, testing, and careers. Students are responsible for tracking their applications and scholarships, their awards on this website. It's the only way scholarships will be recognized at the spring honors reception or in the graduation program. And all of those scholarships or awards must be submitted online by April 15th. This is the student's responsibility to track the applications and the scholarships. Please meet with your counselor. Your counselor is your advocate. Talk with her regularly. They write your letter of recommendation, and they can also assist students with the college application process as needed. They can also refer the student to the college counselor for additional services. The college counselor has many roles at Roncalli. They'll assist the students in looking beyond Indiana for a college that's a good match. They will also be the point person for scholarships, and they also bring in the college reps for student visits. Here's some hints for your senior year. Stay organized. Use and update the College and Career Connections. Read the senior newsletter on a weekly basis. Retake your SAT or ACT if it's necessary. Set some goals, listen to announcements, and apply for scholarships beginning in August. Don't wait until March. In front of you on your PowerPoint, you have dates of importance, including our evening presentations, the evening with college reps, the financial planning for college, and the FAFSA presentation. Those are all worthwhile presentations for seniors to be. We hope you have a great senior year. Please feel free to contact us as you need us.